What's up, everybody? I'm back with another story time. It's me, Bree, and welcome back to my channel if you have been here before, and if not, thank you for joining me for the first time. Y'all know stuff. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Just show me some love. That's all I need. But the title of this story time is the story of my father's murder, how he was murdered in DC. So I'm just gonna jump straight in. I don't want to be around the bush and make this video too long, so here we go. I remember it like it was yesterday, honestly, although it was 9 years ago. Was it 9 years ago? 9 plus 10 is 19. Yeah, 9 years ago. He was murdered in 2010 in DC, Edgewood, if I'm not mistaken. I got the call. It was a lovely day. I was out enjoying myself with my best friend and my little brother, and I got a disturbing call. It was his wife calling me. So I answered the phone, and remind you, I was about 16, 17, if not 17 already. So this was a very pivotal time in my life as a teenage girl. So she called me and she called me and she just was crying. She couldn't even say anything. And I'm just thinking like, okay, maybe my father got locked back up, he went back to jail, or maybe it's just like a medical issue or something. Like, I didn't think it was so severe. So she kept calling, and just kept hanging up. I guess she just wasn't ready to tell me. She kept saying, just tell me, call me when you get home. Call me when you get home. So I'm like, okay. So I'm on the way home. We get on the bus, and I'm like, when I say this day was perfect, it was the perfect day. And then, like, it just hit me, like, what happened to my father? Like, why is she calling me so hysterically? So I finally got home, and my mom called me. It was like everybody. It was just an influx of calls from everybody, basically. So my mother called me, and she didn't know how to tell me. So I think she told my aunt. I can't remember exactly, but finally, when I finally received the news that my father had been killed, it was from my sister. I didn't accept it well, of course, it's my father. The delivery was whack. No shade to my sister, but everybody just ain't good at that stuff. But yeah, so the way I received the news was not in the greatest consoling manner, unfortunately. But it is what it is. So with that, I of course broke down the whole nine. So the story of how it went down, my father sold drugs. He was a drug dealer. If you watch my previous video, my first debut storytime video, you will learn that my mother was addicted to drugs. What a coincidence. You think my father sold them, my mother did them. Whatever. So it was a drug deal gone bad. It was a hit, basically. So from what I've read, and remind you, a little bit of backstory, I don't know much about my father's murder still to this day. I have tried to reach out to detectives countless times that were on the case to get better, insight or closure on what, how the case went. I understand they're busy and everything. I just may have to take a trip and just knock on his door and be like, bro, what happened to my father? Tell me the trial, the everything. How did it go? Just tell me. But so where was I? Okay, a drug deal gone bad. So it was a hit for 2 pounds of weed. Remind you, 2 pounds of weed. And it makes me upset more now, the fact that weed is legal in DC today. So basically my father was at his home he went to go meet them like in the corridor, however you pronounce it, the hallway, god damn it, and to make the drug deal. There was two guys who were coming to buy the weed from my father, and it was my father and his friend. So there were four of them all together. So initially, when my father went to go hand the guy the weed, the guy up and shot my father. So with that, the shooter, his accomplice, followed up and began to shoot too. But the gag is, when he upped to shoot, he got a little bit trigger happy. He shot himself. He shot himself in the leg, and it went through his foot. Adrenaline is rushing, of course, so they're still shooting. My father gets shot 5 times, I believe, 1 in the head, 4 in the body, and the torso. And the other guy that my father was with, he was shot as well. But what he did was he played dead until they left. So initially 3 people were shot, 1 DOA, which was unfortunately my father. It was bad. That's all I know of this story, unfortunately. So after they murdered my father, it was DC police had put out a $25,000 reward for any information on my father's case. I don't think anybody came forward. I just think, again, like I said, I don't know much about this case. I'm just giving you what I know. I may have to have a part 2 story time to this story, because it's just to fill in the blanks. You know, I'm still trying to figure this out. I'm on this journey to figure out what really happened with the case and everything. But they caught the guys the next day. After, I think it was like a few hours after. I don't even think it took 24 hours. So I commend Metro DC police for doing their job on my father's case and apprehending the suspects. But it's still like, what the hell to me, you know. His wife, I got an email like a few years after, and she let me know that one of them is serving 35 years. I think that's a minimum. His minimum was 35. I don't know. For capital murder. And the other, I think he got a 2nd-degree murder charge. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know a lot still. But before the trial had took place, there was something that they call a victim impact statement that I had to write. It was hard to write, and this is just a little bit of backstory. I gave you what happened to my father. If you want to click off, go ahead. It's cool. But so a victim impact statement is basically telling the jury and the judge and trying to sway the people for the better judgment of your father, or the victim in this case, which would be my father. But it was kind of hard, because if you don't know a lot about a person, what could you say about them? You know, I didn't know a lot about my father. My father wasn't there throughout my life, so it was like I was just speaking from a perspective of hope, so to speak. You know, like, well, maybe if you didn't kill my father, we could have mended our relationship better. Or maybe if you didn't kill my father, he would be here to see me graduate high school. Or, you know, stuff like that. But as far as representing him, I was not able to do that in the way that I wanted to, and that hurt too, and was a huge part of my mourning process, because it was like, how do you mourn, you know, out of, you know, from a genuine place of love? It's like you're mourning out of hope. Like, you were hopeful of a better relationship with your father. You were hopeful to continue to go through life and he see you accomplish things. You were hopeful, but it's not guaranteed. So it's like, when it's coming from that place, how genuine could it be? I swear I've never written something so heartless in my life as a writer, period. Like, even if it was something pertaining to school work, I would always put everything into it because that's just my nature. I'm a very passionate person. But it was hard to do that victim impact statement because I didn't know a lot. So I don't know if that had an effect on the case overall. Another thing, I didn't attend my father's funeral. Unfortunately, I wanted to, but I couldn't. It was not my decision. I was still a minor. I was still in Virginia. My father, like I said, he was murdered in DC. My father lived in DC. So that hurt me as well. That was another strike in my mourning process. I remember the day so vividly, and it still makes me emotional, but I'm not going to cry in this video, I promise. But it was, I remember I used to go to a program, Upward Bound, shout out to Upward Bound, and I was there when it clicked. Like, the day was perfect, and then all of a sudden, everything just shut down. It just shut down, and it clicked, like, today's my father's funeral. And after that, the day just took a flip for the worse. Of course, I was very emotional that I couldn't go. And I think I was more emotional because I had put it in the back of my head that I couldn't go. But then I told myself I was going to be okay. And then the day came, and I'm like, this shit is not okay at all. The fact that I can't attend my own father's funeral because of whatever reasons, maybe somebody was trying to protect me, or maybe, I don't know, it's whatever. Everything happens for a reason, but you know, it hurt me bad, and it still does, because I didn't have that final goodbye. Even though, whatever, I'm not going to delve deep into that, but yeah, it still hurts me to this day, and I think it will forever hurt me that I didn't have that final goodbye. But I'm thankful for his wife for something that she did. My father was cremated, so she got necklaces, glass pendants made, and a heart with his name and his death date and his birth date on it, with his ashes in it. And it was so sentimental to me. It still is. I still have the necklace. Well, at least the pendant. The necklace got broken. I don't want to go into that story time because it makes me mad. But yeah. So that's just, you know, a portion of this story. Oh, back to the funeral. So I'm sorry, y'all, I'm back and forth switching. But just, this is a lesson. Bite your tongue sometimes. Before I end this video, watch what you say, watch what you think, watch what you do. The universe is always watching and surrounding and listening and feeling everything you do. And I say this because as a kid, this makes me emotional, I'm sorry, but I told myself, I don't care nothing about that man. I don't know him, I don't love him, I hate him. You know, all the obscene things. Called this man every name in the book except the child of God. And I told myself, I don't care if he died, I'll never go to his funeral. He was never there in my life, so why should I go to his funeral? I don't know him, I don't love him. And the day came, and God said, okay, I got a trick for you, little girl. You want to talk shit and disobey your parents no matter what they did? I'm gonna make it to where you can't. You have no control to whether you do want to go to his funeral or not. And that is exactly what happened. So when I tell you, bite your tongue sometimes and be thoughtful, be mindful of situations coming back to you. in the long run. Energy is infinite. It never runs out. So what you put out always has a boomerang effect, and it will find its way back to you. That is it for this story time. I just want y'all to know and remember, self-love is real love, and it comes first of all. You cannot love anything or anyone else if you do not love yourself first. So with that being said, I love you all. Be great. Have a good day, a good year, good month, good week, all of that. And I will see y'all later. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I'm out of here. Bye.